everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cosmic Besties. I'm Kelly and this is Christy, and we are here in your go-to space for deep, soulful conversations that hopefully feel like hanging out with your best girlfriends. So, whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or you're just dipping your toes into the mystical, this place is where you can come to expand your mind, spark your intuition, and hopefully make the unknown feel a little bit more like home. We explore all things spiritual, and you can check out a bunch of topics on our last episodes. But this one is going to focus on a meditation or a visualization for you to take a moment to meet your future self. So, last episode, we spent some time exploring the concept of astrocartography, which was this idea that there may be places around the world where you feel a little bit more at home, or you might be a little bit more prosperous or more successful. Or on the flip side, you may learn a lot about your shadow self. We'd love to actually hear from you after this and see if your astrocartography chart has anything to do with your future self. But Christy's going to be our guinea pig today, and she's going to do this meditation that I lead us through. And then Chris, if you can share like where you end up at the end, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So, let me just pull this open. You can go ahead, Chris, and just make yourself feel real comfortable. I know that you probably don't want to stare at us while I do this meditation, so let me pull up a little picture or something for you all to look at. What are we feeling? Bonfire? Let's do bonfire. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Are you seeing the bonfire?
I am. It's so pretty.
Okay, perfect. All right. So go ahead and just get yourself into a comfortable position. Um, put your feet on the ground, or if you're sitting on the ground in a comfortable position already, that's great. Um, allow your eyes to go ahead and close and begin by taking long, slow, deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just allow yourself for a minute to become aware of your breathing easily, naturally, and freely. Now I'm going to invite you to take a mental inventory of your body. Beginning at the top of your head, become aware of any tension or tightness that you might find. And I'd like you to give that tension or tightness a color and envision it just draining out of your body. Let that color drain out of your tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. Just allow that tension or tightness to drain away. And next, you'll just continue moving down your body, bringing your attention to your neck and to your arms. And again, if you find any tension or tightness there, you're just going to let that drain away. Next, you're going to take your awareness down along your back, down into your abdomen until you hit your sacral and your root chakra. And again, notice any tightness that you might find there and just eliminate it. Imagine it just melting or draining away, draining out through the tips of your toes. Notice if there's any tension or tightness in your legs, your knees, your ankles, or your feet. And just allow it to drain into the ground. And now, as that's draining into the ground, I'd like you to allow those roots to go deeper and deeper. Let those roots go deeper, spreading out, connecting you solidly to the earth. And now you'll let those roots keep growing deeper. You allow them to lengthen deeper into the earth, and I'd like you to connect them to the roots of a very strong tree. And now you are both anchored and grounded. Slowly, you'll bring your attention to the spot between your eyes. Imagine a light there. Notice the color of the light. And now imagine that light becoming a beam that extends out into space. Follow that beam as it leaves and as it travels above the city, as it continues out so that you can make out the entire area, then a coastline. Keep on going further and further out. You find yourself just outside in space, and you look and notice the curvature of the earth. And as you keep going further and further out, you find yourself enveloped by the softness and quiet of space. Notice the big blue-green ball below you with white clouds swirling around it, and allow yourself for a moment to just enjoy this perspective. Now you notice another beam of light very near to you. It's a different color from the one that you followed out into space. Begin to follow this new beam back down to Earth. The beam is taking you back to Earth, but 25 years from now, 25 years into the future. Keep following this beam down, noticing the curvature of the Earth and the geography stretched out below you. Good. As you come closer to the end of the beam, keep noticing where you are. You come into contact with the Earth, and I'd like you to notice what's around you. What do you see? Notice any landscape, dwellings, or nature. Take note and observe your surroundings for just a moment. Next, you'll begin to walk a bit. As you're walking, what else do you notice about your surroundings? As you've now been walking for a few minutes, you move to the dwelling of your future self. You know the way. What does it look like? What surrounds it? What's in the environment around you? Make at least 3 mental observations of what you see. And take another moment to truly get the sense of the place. You are now standing in front of the dwelling of your future self. Do what you need to do to get someone to come to the door. Know that on the other side of the door is your future self waiting to greet you, yourself 25 years from now. And as the door opens, what do you notice? Greet your future self and notice the way that they return your greeting, welcoming you into this time and place 25 years into the future. Take a few moments to observe this person, this future version of you. Now move with them to a comfortable place for a conversation. Perhaps they offer you something to eat or drink. Really settle in and make yourself comfortable for a conversation with this future version of you. There are some questions that you want to ask them. Begin by asking the following question. First, what is it, future self, that you most remember about the last 25 years? In those 25 years, what stands out in your memory? Take a moment now to hear the answers. Now ask them the following question. What do I need to become most aware of to get me from where I am now to where you are? What would be most helpful for me to know right now? And listen to what they share with you. Next, you'll ask your future self the following question. What do I need to let go of or release to become the best version of myself? Take a moment to hear their response. Now take a few minutes to think of any other questions you want to ask your future self and go ahead and ask them. Now ask a final question before you go. What name, other than your first name, can I call you by? A special name, it could be a metaphor or a symbol of your essence. What is this name? Bring this visit with them to a close and thank them for being here with you today and sharing their wisdom. As you look toward your future self, notice that they have a gift for you. It's a special gift to remind you of this exact meeting, to remind you of who you are becoming and what you are moving toward. And as your future self offers you the gift, ask what the meaning of this gift is. What do you need to know about it? It's now time for you to begin your journey home. Thank your future self for your wisdom and for being here with you. Know that your future self is an inner resource you can connect to whenever you need. Whenever you seek guidance, whenever you need to know what your next step is, you can contact your future self at any time. They're a powerful resource for you from this point forward, and you will simply be able to meditate and connect with them whenever you'd like. Say goodbye now, knowing that you will remember everything from this visit that you need to remember. You find yourself leaving the dwelling, and then slowly you make your way back to the beam of light that brought you here into the future. You begin your journey back up the beam, watching this world 25 years in the future grow ever smaller as you move out into space. Seeing again the ball of blue-green below you, clouds swirling around it. Notice that your beam of light is intersected by the first beam of light that will take you back to 2025. Follow this beam of light back to present time Earth. As you travel down this beam, notice the Earth growing bigger and bigger. Notice the geography. Moving further down the beam, notice the skyline. And now you're home. And finally, you're coming back into this room. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to count from 3 to 1. At the count of 1, you will be refreshed and alert as if you've had the perfect amount of rest, knowing that you can remember everything you wish to from this journey to meet your future self. 3, coming back now, coming back to present time, slowly becoming more alert and refreshed. 2, stretching your body, feeling the ground beneath you and releasing the roots that have grounded you deep below the earth. You are back to your sovereign self. And 1, eyes open, refreshed, and alert. All right. I'm going to go stop sharing that beautiful bonfire, and I'd love to hear about your journey.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like at first it was difficult for me to find where I was going, and it was almost like my mind was like where I landed. Um, my mind was like not believing it. So I kind of had to I like then pulled myself back up and I was like, okay, let's do it again. And I landed in the same spot. And I was like, aha, okay, you're meant to be here.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of weird.
One thing I
Um,
probably should have said at the beginning for folks who are first time meditators or visualizers is that we all meditate and visualize in different ways. And I wish I would have said this at the beginning, but now you're hearing it now. So oftentimes there are folks who don't see things, right? And then you get kind of mad at yourself, like, why am I not seeing things? Sometimes you just kind of feel things, or some people tend to be more verbal and things just pop into their head. Like instead of seeing a flower, they're just like, flower. And I've learned in coaching a huge number of folks that there are so many different kinds of brains, and visualization looks different for everyone. So just a little note in case some of you visualized in a different way. But
yeah, I think that's really cool. I remember you told me that before, and I never thought about it because I'm such a visual person. So to me, like the images come right away, but it makes sense that like you may just have a feeling or like an inner knowing. And that's okay too.
all right, so you landed back in the same spot.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like a rocky beach kind of, and there was water, and then behind me it was like a forest. And so I think the reason why I was like questioning where I was is because I'm watching that show alone, and they're like kind of like like I felt like I was like, am I alone somewhere? Like did my soul decide? I mean, I am an introvert, but like did my soul decide that I was like, peace out world, like I'm gonna go live by myself? But then once you said like to start walking, I found this little path. And it was definitely like clearly a path like made by somebody. It wasn't just like a deer path or something. So I was like, okay, I know I'm not in alone. And so I followed it up and it was this beautiful house with this like big porch. And it was like this kind of pale yellow older home. It was really pretty. She had a really pretty garden. So I guess in my future life, maybe like I actually have a green thumb because right now it's black. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. And so I went up and like I went up the front porch and she opened the door and she like immediately pulled me in for a hug, which feels like something I would do because I'm a hugger. And she pulled me in for a hug and then we went into the house and we sat down at this like big kitchen table and there was just what I remember is there were like windows everywhere. Like so
oh,
all of like the sunlight could pour in and you could see from like the kitchen like the lake or whatever that body of water was below. It was really pretty.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to look at your astrocartography and see what the possible locations were, but based on what you described, it could be pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know where it was, but I'm trying to think. I don't really remember. Oh, you asked like what did we do or something like that. She was like you wrote a book, which is not anything I ever
Huh.
like it's not on my like list of like to-dos before I pass away, but apparently like she's telling me rewrite a book. And she told me we were really happy. I asked if we were alone because I felt like we were alone. Again, my mind was still like, am I like trying to survive? And she said, no, we're not alone, that we're really happy. She's like, the children come to visit a lot, so that's good. Um, and then the thing that she gave me at the end was like a white rose. And she told me to continue to bloom because I'm in the process of becoming, is what she said.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, so it was really cool. I can't remember with other questions that you asked, but that like
Did
that
you,
were like burned
uh,
in my mind.
yeah, did you
What?
have any limiting beliefs or things you needed to release?
Oh, what did she say? Yes, she said that you're too focused on the past and too focused on the future. And she's like, you need to just stick and stay in like the present right now, which is something that I'm always like working on.
Yeah.
Um, I actually think I'm a lot better about it now, but apparently I'm not because she was telling me that I need to like stay in the middle lane, stay in the present, like to let go of the past and not worry about the future and just stay where I am. Um, was her advice.
I love that. Well, future you sounds just as lovely as current you. So it's nice to know that some things never change.
Yeah, she felt like sunlight and like I wanted to hang out with her. Oh, her name too, which
Yeah.
I was like expecting her to be like, you can call me like Christy, but she told me her name was Layla and that I could call her Layla or Lily.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know if that's like a past life or something. I'm gonna have to like look up and see if that has like any meaning behind it, like what that name means.
Yeah, I wonder if like I don't know, maybe this should be a future episode, but maybe we talk a little bit about like connecting to our higher selves. Like supposedly like we are referred to as different names, our higher
Mhm.
selves are. And so maybe you actually connected to your higher self versus like future version of you.
It could be. She definitely looked older than like 25 years older than I am because like I'm 41 now, so be in my 60s, but she looked like a lot older. Maybe I don't take care of my skin. I don't know. Like a mental note to like wear SPF. Um but so I did a meditation once where you like met your spirit guides. And when I asked their names, there were two. There was a man that came forward and like an older woman. And
Mhm.
they told me their names were, he said you could call me. Well, he actually said at first, he was like, we don't really have names, but if you feel like you need to call me something, you can call me Malachi. And the older woman said, you can call me Malale or Malali. So maybe it was her. Maybe like the Lily was her.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, who knows? But
Yeah.
cool that it worked for you and that you
Yeah.
great messages.
I know. I loved that. It felt really good. And I feel really calm and peaceful now and just like centered, which is maybe what she wanted me to do.
Yeah, I love that. So what are you going to do now to make sure that you stay in the present?
I'm gonna go cheer my son on at soccer because he has a game right now. So I'm gonna go cheer him on, and then I think just I don't know, like she brought up the children and coming to visit. So maybe I'm gonna take advantage of them not having to visit and the fact that they're still in my home right now and do like a game night or something tonight.
I love that. All
Yeah.
right. Well, you all have homework to drop a comment and let us know what you learned from your future self, and let us know if there's any connection to your astrocartography. So, did you find yourself in a location that has some sort of significance?
Yeah.
Um, Own astrocartography chart. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I want to know too, like what your name was, what your gift was, what your house looked like. I want to know it all. I'm a nosy bitch. So come share your info. I want to hear.
Yes, yes, love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Kelly, for leading us on that meditation too.
Anytime.